right? Do I have that right? I'm erroneously telling you prices and things of that ilk. I think that's correct.
It's $10
for 4 months. $10 for 4 months is what we got going there. Tyler, hope you're getting, or Troy, I should say, and Zyler, combine the two. Troy, I hope you get out of the hospital soon. Zyler, I hope you are on the mend. Some loyal listeners of the Jeff Cameron Show, often in the chat, both are hospitalized, and we're wishing them well. All right, where do you want to start? Today's the first day of football for spring. In a way, I feel like it's not, because we were already over there for the luncheon where we got to hear from Coach Norvell and talk to the coaches. Friday on the show, we played clips from that. We played my interview. I think we may have some sound clips for today that we didn't use. Maybe you and I can respond to that we didn't get a chance to. We had Tony Tokars, and we played that full interview last week, and I thought that was really good. I thought Tony was great as usual. Usually he is good. He's fun to talk to. I like talking to him because he's candid. And he's also obviously guiding the most important segment group, if you will, on the team in the quarterback room. So that was good. But we had, the opportunity with our staff to kind of come across the room and have somebody in front of every coach, which was great. And we can react to that. But today they'll start practicing. They don't wear full pads till Friday, and I'm old school in this way. I don't feel like we'll get a lot from non-padded practices. I'm this way in the fall too. I'm not here to say you get nothing. You do get something. We're all going to be excited to see these freshmen in action. We're all going to see what they look like physically, and they're doing football activities as opposed to just running around cones and showing you what kind of cardiovascular conditioning they've been going through. No, now we're going to see them in football environments, and that's a good thing. So it's not nothing. But the padded practice isn't until Friday, and then they break for spring break like all of us do. We're going to be taking some time off next week just to get out in front of that, let you guys know we'll be taking some time off with our friends and family as well. And so is Florida State, for that matter. There's nothing to cover next week other than baseball, which I will get to momentarily. But that's the week ahead, and we'll have plenty of coverage for you on Warchant TV, warchant.com, plenty of articles, interviews, and the like. Obviously, on this show this week, Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, all that we provide at warchant.com. This is going to be a hyper-focus on the start of spring football, as it should be. And as you see, if you're watching on the chat right now, and if you're not driving around, Tom is flashing the deal. $10 next 4 months, so a chance for you to save some money and to get in as a Warchant subscriber and be a part of the big party. Be a part of what's going to be a special season. I feel like the way things are going, what is it, already March 6th, 7th? What the hell's today's date? I mean,
the 6th.
It's flying by already. So it's telling me that before we know it, with all that you and I both know behind the scenes that's going on, not just to cover here, but we'll be announcing soon my golf tournament that we married with Warchant, and we did it a year ago. It was awesome. It's going to be great again this year. We're going to talk to you about how you can get registered for that. Start talking to your friends. If you want to be a part of this, you're gonna want to sign up quick, because it goes like that.
Yes, and hint, given the day that it's being played, there might be a bigger pool of people coming into town to play it.
Yeah, so you're going to be hearing about that this week, I do believe.
Yes.
And we'll make the official announcement, but I want you to just be kicking it around your head right now that if you want to play in this thing and you didn't get a chance to last year, it's all for charity. Our friends, the Second Harvest, do great work, and I was so impressed with them last year when we worked together on this thing and what we were able to raise. We're going to raise even more money this year, so it's a great cause. You guys, I brag on you guys about this all the time because I mean it. It's an easy thing for me to brag about between this and the money you guys have raised in the bowling tournament every year for the kids of the Guardian Ad Litem. I mean, it's an overwhelming response. It's awesome. It's one of the best parts about our job, and I mean that sincerely. But I also know that every year I make this announcement, whether it be for the bowling tournament or the golf tournament or whatever it might be, and then I get 100 emails from people like, I really wanted to do it. I missed out. I'm busy. I'm this and that. I got it, man. You guys got lives. I don't expect you to be tuned into me every second of every day. I'm trying to give you a heads up right now, though, because I always feel so bad. I can't get back to everybody. You sign up. When we get the announcement, sign up. Don't dilly-dally. The thing fills up quick. It fills up quick. Get your team together. Whip up your ponies. Let's go. Be ready to roll. So we'll get out in front of that. And then we also have other stuff that we're going to be talking about, which, for Florida State football, I know that you and I are going to be sitting here, and before we know it, we're going to be doing W's and L's in June.
Little post-spring football W's and L's.
Yeah.
I love it.
It happens quick. Like, next thing you know how I am. You get to, like, May, and I'm like, hey, guys, it's already May. Football's about to be. I start floating it out. It pisses Corey off. He's like, it's not close. But it is close. I mean, June might as well be football season. Let's go. Especially when, by the way, you have the kind of expectations this team will have. In the past, we were cautiously optimistic. A couple years ago, we were downright, I love football. That's kind of how we would talk about it. Like, well, football's great, but they weren't specific to FSU. It wasn't like, hey, man, I expect this team to do that. Now it is. Now it is very specific. Now it is, how good can you be? I know you're good. How good can you be is what this becomes. And that's a very different level of interest and focus and day-to-day conversation. And it's a bar that you have to compare and contrast. And
I like bars. Yeah,
I do too. And it's a bar that you have to compare and contrast. It's that moment where you're like, yeah, good Tuesday, good Wednesday. They got to be better. They got to be better because we're trying to win championships around here. That was sloppy. Like, we start getting a little bit more hyper-focused on the critiques, but also the praising for the things that are good and all of that balance that you seek to create. Very quietly, the basketball team lost again. You knew that. You knew that before they tipped off. I'm saving the better stuff, baseball and football, for after I get this off my chest with basketball. Here's where we sit. Thankfully, they got tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Is that right?
Roughly 2 p.m.
Let's hope it all comes to a crashing in right then and there. Let's just hope that's the end of it. You limp on off. Exit stage left, guys. We're done with you. We've been done with you. Been done with you for a long time. Been done with you with this sorry-ass, embarrassing season that set some dubious records. Most losses in program history. You want to start there? Want to start with most losses in program history?
Yeah, I'd like to finish there.
Surpassing the previous record of 21 set by the 2000-2001 team. So it's been 22 years. That, if you recall, that was the end of the Steve Robinson era. If we lose tomorrow to Georgia Tech, we'll tie that 2000-2001 team for the fewest wins as well. So you have the most losses and maybe the fewest wins all in the same season.
It tends to go hand in hand.
A lot of times, but not always. We want to set both the records, Tom. Most consecutive home losses, by the way, we had 7 home losses. Consecutive. Not just in general. Consecutive. Like, every time you went over to the TLC-CC, the last 7 times, anyhow, you saw a loss.
The one thing about this office here, where it's located in Tallahassee, these studios, is if you look through the right window out in a certain direction, you can see I-10.
Yes.
And I did just recently. And you know what was in the right lane passing by, going westbound on I-10?
Ding-ding was going down to see somebody else?
The beep-beep.
Oh.
The beep-beep was just passing through.
The beep-beep, he's not even stopping. The beep was like, oh, hey,
going 41 miles an hour in the right lane.
Pissing people off.
Beep, beep.
The previous record was 5 straight losses at home. That was the inaugural season of the TLC-CC back in 1981. You weren't alive.
But it looked the same until about 5 years ago. I believe the 81 opening, it looked exactly the same.
The worst non-conference record at 2-9 since the Noles gave up our independent status and joined the Metro Conference back in 77, Tom. The only other long non-conference record in a season, or losing, I should say, non-conference record in a season was 99-2000. We went 5-6 outside the ACC. That was part of that 12-17 campaign in that third year for Steve Robinson, when we began to wonder, was he going to make it? This is when I began to say, and Tom, I was on the air wondering aloud whether or not he was going to make it. All those moons ago, I was on the air talking to this community.
A young man of 45 years old at the time.
Oh, good Christ. Most losses by at least 20 points in a season. That happened 4 times this year. The 40-point ass beating at the hands of Clemson, 94-54. Worst loss by FSU in 21 years under Leonard Hamilton. The previous mark of 39 points set last season in that ACC tournament game against Syracuse when they were just like pushing our players and nobody seemed to want to respond.
Right. And then I believe it was Coach Boeheim who was presented with facts and said he's going to choose something else instead of the fact.
Yeah, well, hey,
yeah,
very common.
Very en vogue.
Yeah. So this is all I'll say about that as we move on. And I said this a week ago. I probably said it 2 weeks ago. If we're just looking at it from a news angle and we remove, now I'm on the air to give opinion. I'm on the air. I provide emotion, opinion, and all those things.
We love you for it.
But what I'm saying here is if you just want to look at this thing objectively, the story you would be waiting for, and I think that this is absolutely true. If you were on the beat to write this story, you'd be thinking to yourself, what's the next big story I'm going to write about Florida State basketball? Sure as hell isn't the result of the game against Georgia Tech tomorrow. It's instead going to be, does the athletic director, who has real power and has been able to wield said power so far and make big decisions in big moments and splashy ones at that, does Michael Alford give Leonard Hamilton one more season to right the ship? Does Leonard Hamilton and that staff deserve it, or do they want it? I don't know the answer. Michael Alford's got to figure that out. I have an opinion about whether he deserves it or not, but I wonder if Ham wants it. I don't know the answer to that. I've not spoken to him on that level.
Well, I can't imagine there's going to be an extension release.
Well, no.
So, the question is, would you want it if you know this is it? If you're sitting behind the desk of the head coach and you're Coach Hamilton and the word is, look, you've got one more year left on the contract. It's yours. Do you want it? And then that becomes the question. Because we're not extending you. This is it.
So let me just say this. Somebody might say, why would you do it? What's the point? Well, I'll tell you this. Pitt had themselves a fine season this year. You know what they did last year? They went 11-21. They went 6-14 in the ACC last year. They were they were cheeks. This year, they're 21-10 and 14-6 in the ACC. They had a complete roster overhaul. They went about the process in a very modern way. It was a complete roster overhaul. They were like, that's it, that's all. Grand opening, grand closing. We suck. Look at it. Self-evident. We're 11-21 and 6-14. All you got to go. Flipped out their roster via the transfer portal, and here they sit, nearly won the conference. So there's a team that did that. NC State went from 11-21, 4-16 a year ago. Guess what they were this year? I'm looking at it right here, 22-9, 12-8 in the ACC. Again, all transfer portal. You guys aren't getting it done. Get the hell out. We'll bring in some new guys that can get it done. We'll take our chances and gut this roster and replace it with people who care to play and play hard.
Maybe a guy named Brent Forrest. Boy, he looks old.
Thick, too. He's a grown man out there. Look at this guy having his way as a point guard, just pushing people around. So if you watch a lot of these other teams that have routinely just done whatever they wanted to Florida State this year, big, strong guys, attacking guys, aggressive teams that can create off the dribble, that move the basketball, that transition well, that do all of the things that Florida State did not do this year. Can you do that? Can you reasonably expect that you can do that? I don't know the answer to that. And I get back to this part of that question in this equation. And that is this. Would you, if you're Leonard, you'll be 75 before they tip it off next year. You got what it takes to do that? To tell all these guys, because Leonard loves his players, man. He's loyal to his players. Even guys that have not been loyal to him, he doesn't exactly show the door.
Not this group.
I know.
He's openly questioned them to the media, which is crossing a line he has hardly ever, if ever, crossed.
Okay, well, so you believe then he'd be fine as the assassin in this case?
My question is 1 year enough? Like in
his
mind?
I just gave you one. I just gave you two examples.
No, for him, by definition, it's not, hey, if you do well next year, then you get to keep coaching here.
Well, maybe he does. What if they go 21 and what if they go 21-10 and 16 or 14-6 in the ACC? You're gonna run them off?
It may be time at that point, especially if it's all portal laden.
Look around. This is what
I am.
They're all doing it. It's the same thing. If you prove to me that you can use the portal effectively to that degree.
If you want to have a triggering option at 23 wins next year, then sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Well,
let's get there.
Yeah. Listen, we don't need to go on down that road because they got to do it first. I don't know what the answer is going to be, but that's the next big part of this story. Good night, basketball. Onward we move.
And whoever stays goes to the sand pits. That's the deal.
We got a couple guys I'd keep. That I think have a pretty good ceiling. They've got some to the pits to them, right?
That's right. There's nothing. You know what? Perhaps he could pull the Coach K card and say, you don't deserve to wear the logo.
Yeah, I don't want him to do that. Don't want him to do that. Let's assess the weekend that was, and then the rest of the show will be football. But Florida State did lose a weekend series in baseball, the first weekend series loss of the year, and that Florida Gulf Coast team was filled with guys that the basketball team needs. Bunch of 30-year-olds with pot bellies, with mortgages. They're balding. 2 car payments, going through divorce. These are some hosses, DHs in the American League.
Everybody's BYU if you're not at a major school.
It was crazy to look at that team. I'm like, look at these dudes. That guy started for the Tigers last year.
I went to school with him.
The Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM.
If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a Hometown Hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all Hometown Heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse?
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186. Tallahassee's favorite family-owned Apple and Mac product stores moved to an all-new location. Mac and More Systems is now located at 230 John Knox Road. Same great people, same great services, same great prices, all at a new location. Mac and More offers computer and Apple device sales, one-on-one consulting, business services, and the most experienced Apple repair team in the city. Learn how to get the most out of your Apple gear. Come by and say hi to the Mac and More Systems team today at their new location, 230 John Knox Road.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Which to gauge, or a minimal amount of data points. What is it we know about Florida State baseball? This would be the easiest team in the world to diagnose. What we know so far about this team. The head coach described one of the things we know about this team when he described the depth of pitching as, quote, razor thin. Yep, that seems about right. The pitching depth is, in fact, razor thin. Not good. You would say this team, if you're just looking at the ability to score runs, to hit the baseball, really, really pretty good offensively. Very good offensively. You'd say defensively, it's a bit of a struggle right now. It's a bit of a struggle right now defensively.
The infield, that area where they have the dirt, don't feel safe when the ball is rolling to anybody who is in the dirt area right now.
No, you don't feel real good about that. Anytime the ball's put into play.
You may, when the ball rolls into that dirt area known as the infield, go, and you wait.
Well, it tells you everything you need to know that when they cleanly make a play, you go, all right. Like when I watch, and I know this is not professional baseball, but when you watch professional baseball, if you're a Braves fan, whoever the hell you root for, and you're watching the Rays, the Braves, the Mets, Pirates, Phillies, and you're sitting around, flipping around, you're like, and you see a two-hopper to short, you're like, well, there's one out. You don't really think anything of it. It's shocking when the play isn't made. You're like, oh, God, he uncorked that one. How about that? All right. Could be the start of a big inning.
Yeah. The only time that you are interested is if you see a pat of the glove or a crow hop.
Yeah, somebody's thinking a little too much.
Oh.
I'm thinking about this too much? Yeah, right. But the opposite is true when you watch Florida State baseball. Two hopper to short, you go, ooh, I don't know. This is going to be all right.
Yep.
Made the play.
It's getting paired with the random fourth on the golf course. And when he makes a 4-footer, all right. He gives it the good fist pump. That's a 4-footer. Like, those aren't automatic. At any level, even at the pros, 4-footers can be troublesome.
Sure.
But you're giving that a birdie fist pump. That tells me where you are.
Yeah. You don't trust your putter. You don't think you're going to make a lot of putts. Yeah. So, again, razor thin pitching staff, very iffy defense, leads to a lot of runs given up. And on this weekend, there were a ton of them. Our compatriot, Corey Clark, given that Florida Gulf Coast many moons ago, not that many years ago, was it Lob City, Dunk City, whatever they were on that run that they went on? So this weekend it was Dong City for that same baseball team, and I agree. Pretty much you thought every time you scored a run, you're going to need another one. And another one. And then I thought, well, that's 3 this inning. Let's see if we can get 10. Because I think we're going to need all of them against this team.
I just think when they do their workouts in the offseason with these guys on that roster at Gulf Coast, they call it the second tour of duty because of how old they are.
Horses.
Yeah.
Now,
Unafraid.
oh,
The maturity of somebody in their mid-20s, unaffected, unafraid.
They put their man weight on, and they're ready to put it to use. They'll post you up down on the block. They're not afraid. Deal with all this ass. What you going to do? Those guys walked into the box. Deal with all this. Let's go. Hovering over the plate. You ain't got nothing.
If nothing else, what we're going to accomplish this year at Gulf Coast is getting enough support for this baseball program that we don't wear a $5 vest on a Sunday.
Man,
That's what we're going to do.
It's impressive, though. Those guys, they're ABs. They let the ball get deep in the zone. They are not afraid, and they take healthy cuts. There's damage on the mind of many. And listen, short of Wyatt Crowell, who went 5 2/3 and threw nearly 100 pitches on Sunday in order to get the Noles the win, why wouldn't they be confident? Like, if they're facing anybody not named Wyatt Crowell, why wouldn't they have been confident? You think about the other pitchers that Florida State trotted out there, and there were 10 of them in total for the weekend. Those guys, they were lit up like a Christmas tree. 28 runs on 33 hits, 20 extra base hits, and 10 home runs. Whew. Good God. What are we doing? That's a tough week.
And most of them would have been a home run, even if it was 65 degrees out. This weekend's supposed to be a little colder. It was not temperature aided, is my point, or wind aided.
No. They were all mashed.
It's a good lesson for this young crew.
Yeah, they went 2-2 on the week. You got a lucky win, sort of, if you will, against USF, but you need those, and you got that win, and you fought hard, and you put the bat on the ball. So, okay, that counts for something. You get that win. So for the week, you go 2-2. Not the end of the world, but you really didn't pitch, and you scored a ton of runs, and that seems to be fairly consistent. These guys, and I'll say this, Colton Vincent, good job, young man. I owe you that a boy. If I'm going to rip you like I did at the beginning of the year, and you earned that ripping, by the way, I don't apologize for noting that you were garbage last year. You have been sensational this year. Tough Love Cameron has come to the rescue again. See what I did there, Colton? I took credit for your success. That's how this works. But good on you, young man, because not only have you hit in a way that you didn't show any inclination whatsoever you could do a year ago, you've hit, but he's actually played well behind the plate too.
And that was the book on him before, and it didn't live up to last year.
No.
But that's how you see it happen, where one thing can permeate to the other function of what you do. Like Cam Smith is having a rough go right now, and I think it's both defensively and offensively when he's in the batter's box, his head's swimming. And that's going to happen.
Yeah, young kids, yeah.
With Vincent now hitting the way he is, as long as Holbrook didn't suffer a major injury this weekend,
well, and I wanted to bring him up.
Back,
he was great.
Then you could just DH him, and you're all set. There's your combination.
Yeah, you're good there.
Boom, 1 and 2 there, and then you got to figure out some other spots.
But you need McGuire Holbrook to be back because that dude is a hoss. He got injured coming home the other day, and they said it's a hamstring, and I'm holding on.
Between that and Diamez, if you could get this whole group healthy, this is a fearsome lineup about 8 spots down.
Yeah, I agree, because you lose your leadoff hitter, but not only, and that's an important point, you lost your leadoff hitter trying to bunt, which is unfortunate, but he also is really your best option in center field by a long shot, so you lose your center fielder, hurts you on defense, and you lose your kickstarter on offense to lead off the game, and so that's unfortunate. It'll be a few weeks, so we're not going to see him for a while, and they'll have to make do. But then you brought him up. McGuire Holbrook is a man. That's a big, strong dude who hits the ball the other way with authority. That's a guy that if he's going to be that, you feel very, very good. That's a guy that had more walks than strikeouts a year ago. That dude doesn't strike out. Bat to ball is his forte. He doesn't walk a lot either, oddly. I think the walks was 21 and strikeouts 19. 19 strikeouts in a whole season.
Yeah.
In the modern era, that's not a player that you see too much of.
No, slugging over 900 for a season in which he doesn't strike out a ton.
Yes, I mean,
Or
please.
sorry, opsing over 900.
Yeah.
Slugging was 5 plus, but his ops is over 900.
Yeah.
Without strikeouts. Usually as the ops go up, strikeouts go up, but not with this particular player.
And infuse that in my lineup, please. I mean, yeah, let's go ahead and have that guy in your lineup, steady as she goes. They've got options offensively. They're going to be fine. They're going to score a lot of runs this year. They got to get a lot better defensively. They got to run the bases better. They still don't do that very well. It led to one player being benched over the weekend. Now he got a chance to come back out and hit a home run yesterday. But Nander can't be a senior and run the bases like he's a true freshman, and he was forced to be made an example of, and for good reason.
This is the thing, too, about the pitching. If you're not going to get Crowell for 2 games a weekend, then we need to make him a starter and be done with it.
I think they're extending him in that way. Like, when you see a guy throw almost 100 pitches, I think they're trying to extend him to the point where they make him a starter.
But let's say you didn't use him for 50-plus on Wednesday. Maybe you lose that game to USF. You might very well. But then you have a chance. I mean, the margin was very slim when you're talking about the winning margin in the first 2 games.
Oh, yeah.
You give me Crowell for games. 2 innings on either Friday or Saturday. Do they win one of those 2? Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. So, if you can't use him for that long, then or that often, I should say, in a weekend, then he's got to be a starter. The other thing yesterday that I'm going to nitpick, I'm going to do it. He got to. He's at 80-plus pitches. They had a conversation with Crowell in the 8th.
But then he got the 1, 2, 3.
You're up 7, though.
I know what you're going to say is why.
He's approaching 90 pitches. He had 60 nearly in the midweek. Do you really need the extra inning? If you can't get 3 outs before they score 7 runs in the 9th inning, shame on you.
Need to get a win there, Tommy. Need to get a win.
Those 15 pitches, 20 pitches. Then he ends up, it's first and second, nobody out. He's got to come out of the game anyway.
But Tom, we don't know, is he going to decide to start him now? I mean, were you extending him thinking to yourself, you're just going to start him next Sunday?
It could be. I feel like that's an awful lot of pitches for the week, and you're up 7. I think you're good. I think you can tell him to go ice it up.
Probably. Unless you're just trying to get him extended again, because maybe you now realize, I was going to try to get away with it. We can't get away with it. We don't have enough starting pitching. Now I got to go. Now I got to extend him and make sure he can do it. He proved it beyond, listen, he's out there trying to prove something too. And so he did. He did, most assuredly. And now I think you probably have to make that decision. All right, on to football next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Fire Department was called to a house fire Thursday around 5:30 a.m. in the 800 block of Dunn Street. The home was fully engulfed by flames when firefighters arrived. TFD said no one was hurt and the home is considered a total loss. No one was living inside the home at the time of the fire. The cause is still under investigation. Tallahassee Citizen Police Review Board has yet to meet months after the removal of several members following controversy over an anti-police cup being brought to a meeting. The city will begin accepting applications in late March. Tallahassee officials will need about 60 days to fill the vacant seats after the start of the application period. Based on the City Commission's meeting schedule, the soonest date available for the group to take action on filling the seats will be June 14th. Out of the 9 seats on the board, 5 are vacant. As the Tallahassee Police Department faces growing questions over the handling of 2 incidents involving officers, it remains to be seen if or when the cases will be reviewed by the board. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance for scattered showers this afternoon. Otherwise, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 85. Southwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 65. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 86. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 85.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the 3rd one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, longevity time, a mouse.
slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing's just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay, mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Afternoon, and I'm trying to think of who I'm most excited to see. Probably the obvious choice in Hakeem Williams. I think I really want to see him run, do football exercises. We watched him run some in the workouts. A lot of those things are, jumping through pads and short bursts and things like that. I want to see them running football plays.
I will not be there today for practice. I'll be doing kind of a headquarters operation. Be live tonight at 7 p.m. on Warchant TV for the Smash, in which there'll be live reaction from the practice fields.
Mm-hmm.
You're joining us in the second slot. Ira's going to be with me at 7 o'clock to lead it off, but you'll be right after. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say about some of these guys. The trenches, you can't learn much until Friday when they go full pads. You can kind of see how the players handle the rapid nature of practice. We have so many holdovers. I can't imagine they're going to be waiting and slowing things down. This will be a very quick-paced couple of hours to begin spring practice.
Yeah.
But after seeing Jeremiah Byers, who the Battle's End announced today a partnership with him, man, after seeing him last Thursday, I cannot wait to see what he looks like when they go 11 on 11 and then in the individual drills against the defensive line. That dude is impressive.
The offensive line, once the pads come on, are going to be the thing I want to watch. Going against that defensive line where we've talked about the depth of the interior and the talent that they have there now and the options that they have. Yeah, the offensive and defensive lines go into war every day against one another over the course of spring and really in the fall when they're fighting for jobs. I mean, man, I can't wait. That's football. That's what you love football. You love football when there's competition, and you love football when there are options and guys have to look over their shoulder. You get the intensity of focus on a daily basis when competition exists and position battles exist. That's not always true. Not every camp has that. Some days you're just going to focus on the passing game, or you're going to focus on whatever it might be because there are too many foregone conclusions with the other groups. And that's just not the case now. There are no foregone conclusions for the vast majority of this. So Jordan Travis is your starting quarterback, yes. Trey Benson is going to play a lot of football in the backfield for you. But that offensive line is filled with position battles. Would not be surprised to see a major shakeup on that offensive line. I think you could have as many as 3 new starters for sure, maybe more. So, again, we're talking about the competition being intense there. The battle for reps on the defensive and the interior, I think, is very, very real. Fisk will not, we don't think, you won't see a lot of physical action from him in the spring as he recovers from his shoulder injury that he suffered before transferring in. So, I mean, he's a 6-year player. I mean, he understands how to play. You'll watch that in the fall, but he'll be a big part of that competition in the fall. And meanwhile, you have all these guys fighting for reps, fighting for starters reps. And you don't know who your 2 starting corners are. You don't know who's nickel. I guess you know your linebackers, but you don't know. Yeah. I mean, Shaheem Brown's going to probably be a starting safety, but again, he's got to prove that he's going to be. So
it's like receiver, very much a defensive back. At receiver, you know that Johnny and Micah are going to get a lot of time. It's just a matter where they line up most consistently, and then who's going to fill out that segment group for different circumstances. In the red zone, Johnny's not coming off the field. Micah could, if they want to put Hakeem out there in that situation, or they want to bring out all 3 tight ends.
Red zone, a bunch of size.
Right. You go empty with all 3 tight ends with Marquise, Morlock, and Bell. That could get fun.
Woo.
So the multiplicity you can run on offense is fun. But at receiver specifically, you know who a couple of the guys are going to be. It's just how do they fill out the 2 deep. Same thing at defensive back. Feel very good about the fact that Fentrell Cypress is going to be on the field for you. Shaheem Brown as well, given the way Adam Fuller underscored again and again and again how big time of a player he thinks he could be. Akeem Dent has a job until somebody takes it from him at present at safety. Beyond that, how it all fills out, how it shakes out for nickel and dime, all those kinds of things, no idea.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Even the battle for backup linebacker as we get into fall camp will be interesting as well, because DJ Lundy serves a purpose, especially against run-heavy teams. They like what they see in Omar Graham, at least off-season training-wise. We'll get to see him put our own eyes on the situation. Brendan Gant was not useless.
I thought Brendan Gant did a great job quietly of adjusting to his new role. Probably not one he wanted to make. He was surprisingly physical for being undersized. He's putting on even more pounds, size, and he's tenacious. So, yeah, you got something out of him. That group is not where it needs to be to win championships. If we're just going to, if I were going to criticize any one group as a group that I have serious question marks about, it's the level that you can reach at linebacker. You can be serviceable, maybe even above average.
Especially if the interior's better. Because, the run defense numbers last year, a lot of that was predicated on the fact that they were never healthy in the interior. And so it's like anything else. Your defensive backs look better with a good pass rush.
Yeah.
Your linebackers look a hell of a lot better if the interior has more talent and is healthier.
But I think just laying eyes on them, we also know they're not elite. They're just what they are.
Correct. I'm just saying the path to being above average in terms of a segment group.
Yeah.
The path begins with the guys in front of them winning battles every once in a while and not just getting road graded by their last two opponents.
It'd be exciting to watch them have a chance, but I think that's a group that you would say, man, that's next. That's high on the list of that's got to get a lot better. But you even have if we're doing this game, and we have been doing this all, off season already. Look, you get the transfer, the Tyler Keltner kid come in from East Tennessee State, and I'll be biased rooting for him. Nothing against you, Fitzy, but root for my Etsu guy, and you get the competition. Let's go. In truth, I really don't care who wins the job, just as long as they challenge each other and get better because of it. So let's see what happens there. That is something you will be able to watch in spring.
I would think they got to give him more kicks just in general to foster the competition. There are days, and there was one last year where we went into Doak. And how many kicks were there? Like 15 kicks, I think, that we watched across the different combatants in the room.
Yeah.
They got to have more of that in the spring. Even if it's conducting it, at the same time that they've got position drills. There's just a lot of idle time for the specialists. If you're really going to give this a look, you got to keep those guys going. More chances for Keltner.
You can make that fun. You can make that so fun. I remember those days, and they've done it here before, and really coaches have always had a good time with this. Towards the end of practice, whether or not you're going to rep more or get to go a little early, have a kicking contest. Here we go. First one from 35. Both make it? Okay, let's move it back. First guy to miss, you're gone. And you're going to stay. But, then you get to that one where all the pressure's on it from 50.
Offense gets a kicker, defense gets a kicker.
Yeah. And you see, you let him go back. Put real pressure. They talk about this a lot in golf, and I think it's hard to replicate. And I know that coaches talk about this all the time. Like, make your practices something that creates an intensity that will be somewhat similar to something you might face, on a weekend. Now, I've always thought that pretty impossible. I could tell myself this chip is worth an awful lot. But, if the chip is actually worth $1.7 million and I need to get it close to the hole, that's a different chip. No matter what kind of machinations and things that I do in practice, it's not the same thing. And coaches will, oh, yeah, you can make it into, man, come on. Stand in the middle of the fairway with the U.S. Open on the line, up by one, down by one from, 172 with the prevailing wind left to right is a very different shot I'm hitting than no matter what kind of fictitious thing I've set up into practice.
Hey, man, it doesn't take much, but let's just say that you got to get up and down on 18. And it's for $60.
Yeah, right.
It's a $120 swing.
It's all relative,
one way or the other.
Yeah.
But even that will charge you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing as the U.S. Open? No. But we're looking for that $60 chip from these kickers.
And you can get that in practice with these kickers. And you can get certain things in competition that you haven't had in the past in practice. You're right. The whole segment group wanting to go home a little bit early. Riding on you.
I wish there was pay for play. Like, the NCAA said it was cool because then you could have a briefcase hanging from the net and the first kicker to hit the briefcase get Guess what's in it? There's your pay for play right there.
Just say it out loud as the coach. All right. 53-yarder. Live rush. $100. Let's go. Let's go.
Every time they miss it, it goes up. $200.
Yeah. So we'll get that competition. I look forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Car accident? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
A cup of Joe, Java, brew, go-go beans, brain water, liquid lightning, wakey juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Get to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee. Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
It's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.
I did already acknowledge and doff the cap to Colton Vincent for his work. I should doff the cap to the Florida State, athletic department, I suppose, for the upgrades at Hauser. I spent a lot of time, particularly on Saturday's game. I got there plenty of time because my son wanted to go, so we were there early with his friend. And I got to go throughout the whole stadium, every level, all the way around, because I was told of all the changes. The first time I was there, I didn't get to see all that. I was just there, baseball game left. This time around, I did the whole thing. And they finally properly highlighted their many successes, their players, their history, What the reason the program has the cachet that it does, even without a national championship victory, they have successfully, finally, done right by those players and coaches that came before that built this program into something of significance, to where we have lofty expectations that, when not met, obviously the fan base is vocal. And they did it everywhere you go, whether it's a player who went on to the majors, was all American, or obviously Golden Spikes award winners and the like. The seasons that ended with a College World Series appearance, or even in the final day, and all that stuff, right? It was really well done. An extra coating on the stairs, Tom. There was no standing water to speak of. No standing water. Now, it's been dry.
Very much so.
No standing water. You'll see again when you get there today and we're watching from the stadium.
I'll see it Wednesday.
You'll see it Wednesday. Sorry, yeah. No, man. No standing water. The dust on the fans, gone, clean. They painted them. They look good. Scoreboard's still fairly useless. They got to work on that. But in terms of meaningful stats and of that nature.
Did they have the velocity in a notable place?
They did. You can see the velocity.
That's good.
Yeah, they have that. But bravo. Now, again, is the overall place still a dump that needs to be torn down? Yes.
It's not where Link Jarrett came from. He came from a dump. It's
Right.
better than that.
Well, it's definitely better than that. But it's not great, right? We know the innards are not great. But is it vastly improved to where it was? Yes. I absolutely was. I thought, all right, you got me. Well done. Well thought out. I mean, it makes sense what they did and why they did it. Everywhere you look, you're like, okay, look at that. I didn't see that. That's fantastic. All right. That is a player we should highlight. Oh, look at this.
Did you have an ice cold beverage?
I didn't.
You didn't? I was wondering how the line situation was.
I did not. I didn't notice the lines. I drank water from the press box, and I
you were in the press box.
I didn't sit in the press box, but I went and got water from the press box. No, both games I didn't go to get beer. I was with my kids. I wasn't going to do that. So, but next game I will.
Yeah. How did they enjoy the beer?
We're not there yet.
No.
It's not too long now.
Oh no.
I know. I don't like to think
Pump
about
the brakes on that.
I mean, we're only 6 years away from Bryce being 21. It's nuts how quickly it happens. But no. I didn't have any beers while I was there. Now when I got home.
That'll be the day when we do a remote from CP and Bryce
is having a beer.
He's like, hey, let me get you guys a beer.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
I will know at that point that there is no other
you
way.
Remember him as a baby.
I do.
So then you'll be telling on yourself.
He was a toddler-ish.
Yeah, he was like 3 when you first met him.
Now, I remember Clark as a little cute baby.
You remember him the day he was born.
Yeah.
We knew each other.
Mm-hmm. I remember I got a ride from you one day, and he was in the back in the chair, in the kitty. It was like one of those combinations. It looks like a carriage, but it's a car seat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just locked those blue eyes.
They're beautiful baby blues, aren't they? Yeah.
It's adorable.
He got his mom's baby blues, and he would just stare at you and smile. He had a fat face.
He did.
I love fat
pumpkin.
faces. Oh, yeah, you want your kids to be fat. I wanted my kids to be fat as hell. Bryce was always pretty lean, but Clark was a fat ass. It was great. Now he's all leaned out. But, yeah, when they're fat like that, you just gobble. You want to gobble their cheeks. It's the best. You're like, oh, fat ass. My wife would get so mad. You called your son a fat ass. Yeah, it's beautiful. He's a gorgeous little fat ass. I love him. But then they start leaning out. You're like, no, man.
He reminds me of Baseball Jameis.
The famed picture of Baseball Jameis holding the mitt. Jameis about to get released by the Saints, by the way.
I know. And he's going to be here on Friday.
He will
honored
be
at housing.
Yeah, he'll be here on Friday. And maybe on Friday when he's honored, they'll announce the Bucs have signed him. And here we go. Let the roller coaster begin.
Come on, bring it.
Come on down. Let's go for a ride. We got nothing right now. Have some fun with it. Hour number 2, forthcoming Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Atlanta Hawks visiting the Miami Heat as a 3-point road underdog. The total 227.5. The Hawks trail the Heat by 1.5 of the Southeast Division. Florida State 150-1 with the ACC tournament. They'll play their first round matchup at the Greensboro Coliseum tomorrow against Georgia Tech. The winner will get Pitt in the second round. The Florida Gators open up play in the SEC tournament in Nashville on Thursday. They are 100-1 to win the tournament title. They open up with 45-1 long shot Mississippi State on Thursday at Bridgestone Arena in the Music City. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me, did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Smooth skin begins with hydrating ingredients. Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion nourishes your skin with all-day hydration for deeply moisturized results that give you confidence like buttery soft shoulders like and visibly smooth skin like. Quench your skin with nourishing moisture from Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion. Try Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash too and get skin your face will envy.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we're hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Gee, honey, I'm not gonna lie. Our front yard is looking sad. Don't you think it's time for some TLJ?
I'm pretty sure you mean TLC, and I don't have time for all that work.
No, I'm talking about some TLJ, like in the radio commercials. Give your yard some TLJ from the Lawn Johns.
For all your lawn care and landscaping needs, give your yard the TLC it deserves with some TLJ. Call the Lawn Johns today for a free quote at 322-2567 or visit thelawnjohns.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show.
and a lot of coverage, a lot of media coverage, a lot of speculation about what this team will be and where they're at. A lot of news in the offseason already for Florida State. When you think about last week alone, we were going over the contract extensions and the salaries for these guys and looking at Mike Norvell's extension originally. Obviously, all the stuff about the ACC, Florida State situation there. One thing that you want to continue to do is there are a lot of ways to put pressure on the situation as far as our presence in this conference and our desire to be out of this conference. But one of the ways that you position yourself to have a conversation in which you can bargain from a position of strength is to win, keep winning. Got to follow up last season's 10-win total and the lofty expectations that come with it with another minimum 10-win season so that you are constantly negotiating from a position of strength, but also you are putting yourself in the best possible light for those that are watching, those that are looking onward. I mean, those numbers continue to climb in terms of viewership and the 4 million plus audience and all of that you want to see. Like that, the more important games you're playing in, the more success you have, the more high leverage and high profile those games become, the better position you're in with potentially being asked by another partner if you'd like to dance. And so you get that LSU game right off the bat. We already know how huge that is going to be just in terms of what's possible in the season. It would give you a get-out-of-jail-free card if you were to win that game. You could lose to Clemson on the road in the regular season, knowing that you would be likely, as long as you don't stumble anywhere else along the way, you'd likely be right there in the ACC championship game with an opportunity to avenge the road loss to Clemson because you won the LSU game. If you lose that LSU game with all these expectations, not the end of the world. Wouldn't be stunning to lose that game if it's a hard-fought, well-played game. You lose, 31-28, something like that. You wouldn't be happy about it. And the reason you wouldn't be happy about it, you would understand it, but you wouldn't be happy about it, is that now you have no margin for error. Now you got to go win that Clemson game. Now you got to go and do what would seemingly be very difficult. Not impossible, of course, but very difficult. So I don't think you want to put yourself in a corner like that right off the bat. You want to get that win. And the reason I bring all of that up, even though it's months from now, and is that every day we go to practice and watch, we're watching with that in mind. We're watching to that end. Where are you at? Where do you need to be? How far along? How close are we? I would not be surprised, Tom, and I'm just going to theorize this, put this out there, posit this for everybody to think about. And it would be, I think it would be a surprise, but I would not be shocked if that makes any sense. And here's what I'm going to say. With that offensive line looking like it does, just and again, we got to watch them in pads. We got to watch them throughout spring, and especially in fall. We don't know who's going to be healthy and all those things. Knock on wood. But, man, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time all of this spring ends, spring game ends, we go into that oftentimes what we feel like is interminable offseason, although I feel like it's going to be quick this year. I wouldn't be surprised if I was starting to be of the mindset that Florida State will win convincingly.
The LSU game?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because if you're going to control the line of scrimmage to a greater degree than you did the last time, you already, if you think about the play calling in that game and how well prepared they were for that moment, you have if they don't fumble on the goal line, they're going to blow them out. I mean,
oh, you had 2 possessions inside the 5.
Yeah.
You come away with nothing.
Right. So now let's say you have a responsible kicker that you trust. You've got a deeper, bigger, stronger offensive line, more weapons in the red zone, and a quarterback who believes in himself, who's already come to a place now where preseason he's thought to be a Heisman candidate. Whether he is or isn't, that's what the way he's perceived because his performance suggests as much. So imagine then you've got a team that can control the line of scrimmage with a quarterback who makes good decisions and when things break down can make people miss in a phone booth. Imagine the amount of weapons you now have that you didn't have at tight end from a year ago that you now have. I mean, you're going to be able to throw the kitchen sink at them. You can really do it every week. But LSU did not handle that very well, and they had a very good defense last year. They went on to kind of get it together. They had player for player in terms of athletes. They had players. And Florida State's offense will be better. Now, again, LSU improved from that point forward as well. I'm not saying that it's a cakewalk or anything like that. I'm just telling you that I have a suspicion we're going to see a hungry, focused, deep, talented team that will go into that game very confident. And I will not be surprised if I'm talking to you and saying, you know, Tom, they may win this game by 2 touchdowns.
I'd like that to be the case. I think that's a fun conversation, and I'd like to see the practices between now and then that lead you to that conclusion. My concern for the offense is that if they can just set the line of scrimmage in a way that they haven't before, there's no need to get fancy. There's no need to spread the ball around in that moment. Is there a need felt by the staff to do too much to spread the ball around, make sure everybody's happy? Or if Trey Benson in the first couple of drives is dominant, are they willing to do to LSU or any other opponent what they did to Miami this past season on the road, which is, oh, you can't stop this play, this concept? We're just going to keep running this play.
Yeah.
Because I know this works. I love that. I love the maturity of that with this coaching group, because a lot of guys want to show you how smart they are. Or because they can, yes, I know I can do this well, but you know what? I want to show you that I can do this. I want to set this other thing up. You don't need to set up a second thing if your jab is working. If you establish the jab with the run, keep going with it. My number one concern is that they are so loaded across the board that they don't know identity-wise what they want to be.
Yeah. I just trust Alex Atkins and Mike Norvell right now. I think the greatest strength of this coaching staff is game planning. They do a very good job. They did even when we were bad. I mean, I thought they did a good job game planning even when they were bad. They didn't have the horses. They couldn't execute. There were a lot of times things broke down because the player personnel was bad. They'd get run by or run over. But they were put in positions to succeed. They found ways to score with an inept offense and really substandard quarterback play a couple of years ago. I mean, that's what they were able to do. So I just think that with these options and with these weapons and with this depth and with those two guys in particular coming together and putting together game plans, Florida State's really going to be a bear on offense. We'll see what they are on defense. I think they'll be better there. I'm rooting for Fuller. I'm rooting for this defense to be good. But, man, I know they're going to be good on offense.
Well, the other thing to consider, too, is how the quarterback manages the situation. Because even in that championship season where we were setting records without going tempo, Jameis would make sure to manage the game early such that KB got the ball.
People involved, yeah.
And do there need to be wrinkles like that this year because you've got a lot of larger personalities? It wasn't because Kelvin Benjamin was a great teammate that Jameis was doing that. It's because I need him not to shut down on me.
Yeah, I need him to stay engaged knowing that the ball could come to him if he's not the featured receiver on this play.
I could just see where that might crop up this year. You got a lot of guys trying to make headway for their own selves. They are together and they like one another, but there is this other thing now, which is a lot of these guys have a professional future in front of them and real money, not just NIL money. They got real money in front of them. And how do they all work together to get where they want to go as a group? But then also, you only have one football. How do you distribute it to keep everybody going and engaged the way that KB was?
I just like that the starting point, the jumping off point for this team is one in which locker room engagement and belief in one another and the harmony that we speak of on the regular is fully intact. You don't have even, you just don't see it. I mean, these are guys that seem to really, really love each other. Where you develop problems is only after you've achieved something of merit, of note. They have never done a thing. If we're being honest, they went from being damn sorry to good. That's all they did. They didn't win the division. They didn't play in the ACC championship game. Because they didn't win the ACC. They did lose yet again to Clemson. This one was at home. And for much of that game, it was ugly. They had to hold on for dear life to beat a bad Florida team, to beat a bad Oklahoma team. They didn't achieve anything of note. They just didn't suck for the first time in 5 years. So to me, I think the hunger is there, and that will be what bonds them. They've put in the work together to get to a place where they could even have expectations, where it was fair to have expectations. But I think they're willing to sacrifice their own personal numbers in order to win something, to achieve something, to walk out of here with a ring. Like, whether that's a conference ring or whatever. I mean, to walk out of here with something, all of that hard work, all of that sacrifice, all of that 5-7 nonsense, all of that. Well, we got to win something. I mean, we did this. We came back. A lot of these guys came back, or a lot of these guys transferred in because the thought was they're going somewhere special. They've got a chance to do something. Well, now this is the chance. This is it. You can't be BSing about worrying about whether or not you have 12 catches, 10 or 6 games in the season or 25. I mean, the ball's going to get passed around based on matchups. There are a lot of guys that can have big days for this team. Our offense is going to be tough for defenses to prepare for because we can play it any way you want to play it.
That's the number one thing that calms me down from those concerns is that this is an offense that it's been said before the season started and it'll be said after, a lot of these guys leave after 2023, which is this is designed to find one-on-one matchups, and then that's where the ball goes. Period. It's not about playing favorites. It's not about a ratio for certain guys. It's about how do they line up? Let's use our indicators, or in this case, Jordan Travis doesn't need a whole lot of that because he has a great understanding of the offense. Where is the most advantageous matchup? You've got rules. The ball goes where it's supposed to go. Or Jordan has been very good at, and this is by the coaching staff saying this, you can't really tell from the outside, but when he gets into his run checks or he checks out of a play, Jordan sees it. He sees what needs to be called. So that's the number one calming thing is the offense is not designed to feature somebody. It's to feature the open man, and that can change on any
got
play.
a lot of guys that can do just that. I'm weird this way, but I'm reminded of it. Somebody mentioned something in the chat. We in a year in which we're going to play LSU on September the 3rd, and we're all got it circled on the calendar and what we'll be doing, and friends will be meeting over in Orlando, and the shows we'll be doing and all that. In a year in which you lead off with LSU like you did, you didn't a year ago, you had Duquesne, but and a year in which by week 4 in September you're playing Clemson, so just like that, you've got these huge games, and obviously all these years feature games against your arch rivals, Miami and Florida. I'm sitting here with a red circle around that road game against Wake, October 28th. I'm done with that nonsense. We need to beat the brakes off of Wake Forest, Tom. I mean, of all the things that somebody might point to, I'm oddly sitting there going, I'm done with this nonsense. We need to beat Wake's ass in an unholy way. Like, I want that coach to complain publicly after the game. I want him not to shake Mike Norvell's hand. I want him to be that pissed off. I want him to start a feud. I want him to go to the press and say, was there really a need to kick that field goal up 52-3 in the 4th? Why did you call timeout to kick that field goal? Because I could. And get used to it, buddy. We're going to beat your ass for the next 10 years. If I can beat you by 50, I'm going to do it because you should have never been on the field with us. This is nonsense.
Well, I'm going to make a YouTube short out of this one.
I'm telling you.
I'm going to flip sides for you, too, as you're talking to yourself.
I'm just saying.
Why did you feel the need? Because I could.
Because I could. And if I could have thrown a touchdown pass there, I would have done it. And then kick the onside. I'll kick an onside on your ass up 56-7. I'm going to do it. Line it up. Kick the onside. Let's go.
So go to that game. Pick that game. The weather should be turning up there.
It should be beautiful.
And then you could go up there and, this take the hill thing that we've been trying to do forever. We've never taken the hill. When's the last time that we went up there? Was it 15?
I don't know.
I think it was 15. Dalvin scored the long touchdown, then pulled his hammy.
Yeah, I give them a lot of credit because there's 50 people that go to that school, and it's a miracle that they've done what they've done. And he's a really good coach, and they're a good team. But damn it, man. I am done with it. This struck me the other day. I was going through the schedule because I was trying to talk to my dad about what games we want to go to on the road and where are we going to meet up. And he was like, well, I don't know. Do you have one that you really want to go to on the road? And I'm like, well, Pitt. I want to go to the Pitt game on the road. I always like going up to Pittsburgh. I hate that it's in November this year just because I wanted to see baseball.
It's in November.
But the weather should be beautiful in Pittsburgh in November. So, yeah, I'm going. I'll go up there. And so we were circling games. He's like, well, I can do that one, but I probably won't meet you in Orlando then. I was like, all right, well, whatever, Dad. And I was like, do you want to do another one? He's like, is there any other one you want to go to? And I looked at it. I was like, I want to be there when we beat Wake Forest ass. I'm done with this nonsense. I'm tired of it. It's ridiculous.
You got to slide down the hill, bare cheeks.
I don't know about bare cheeks.
There you go.
I'll take my shirt off and wave it over my head as I slide down in my jeans. It's going to be chilly. It'll be late October. It'll be chilly up there. But, man, I really do. I want you to be able to circle back to this video clip next year after the game. Be like, man, Cameron predicted this ass kicking. Look at this. I want to be uncomfortable, like in the stands, sitting there, and we throw on 2nd and 1,
Yeah.
up 49-7, and he throws a bomb in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's my coach. That's my coach.
You're up 35-3 in the second quarter. It's a minute and a half. They have the ball.
Yeah.
We're calling timeout.
Yeah. 2nd and 10. Timeout. Timeout. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what time it is out here today, boys. I hope you packed a lunch. This kind of ass kick is going to go on all day.
The broadcast, did they, who called the timeout? Was it Florida State?
I think Florida State did.
Florida State called the timeout.
All right. $1:27 to play in the half. Wake Forest trails 35-3 on their own 19. 2nd and 10 coming up. Next play, they run a draw, stuffed for 1 yard. 3rd and 9. Timeout. Florida State is angling to get the ball back here. But Bob, what do you think of this, Bob? Well, it is still the first half. Obviously, it's been a team that's frustrated them. So I want to be sitting next to a Wake guy going, That's what we're doing out here today.
The Wake guy wouldn't even be paying attention. He'd just be cashing his checks from the ACC equally distributed to Wake Forest.
I'd be like, you ought to think about that as you're leaving at halftime. This ass kicking's coming.
They give a disbursement to everybody in undergrad of $1,500 or $2,000.
We're like, man, we're coming out here with our starters to start the second half, too. They're not getting pulled in the third quarter. You better buck up. We're pulling out all the stops this week.
What do I care, monsieur? We are paid equally.
We're pulling out all the stops, baby. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas to put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, bodies, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at widdenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like Krispy Kreme, ABC Flooring, Heath Lawson Services, or Tallahassee Automobile and Collectibles Museum. See over 160 vehicles dating from 1894 to 2016 that include the first car ever built in America, 3 Batmobiles, trucks, and motorcycles. Other artifacts include the finest Steinway piano collection in the world, metal cars, antique boats and motors, sports memorabilia, case knives, and much more. Find them all at Mahan and I-10 or online at TACM.com.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Some people call me Paul because I work at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Everyone that works here will proudly answer to the name Paul. One of the things I love about my job is that I get to help people fix their problems every day. If you have pests in your home and you're like 99.9% of the people I deal with, you want them gone, not tomorrow, but right now. It always puts a smile on my face to hear the reaction of a customer when I tell them we'll have someone out there in a couple of hours. At Paul's, I get the privilege of making your environment safer and more healthy for your family and pets. And because Paul's provides a same-day service guarantee with minimal wait, we get to begin the process right after I receive the call.
If you live in Leon County and call us by noon, Paul's Pest Control will be out by 5, guaranteed. We're a local company, and it's our mission to help keep Tallahassee area customers comfortable and free from the problems that pests bring. And we do so with treatments that are friendly to our environment for the elimination of termites and any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I have mastered something new. That doesn't happen, but I've really
lawn fertilizer.
Nope, that would be a good guess given my age. No, I can now really Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh,
for the family. For the family, I was making them for the family. It's really, really good. I've gotten good with the spice, everything. Really, really good. I'm not a green pepper guy. Bryce is, so I do the right thing. I go get a fresh one, dice it up, do all that, buddy. Phenomenal. Right bread, all of it. Melting of the cheese in the meat.
Doesn't he like spice?
He does.
You throw some fresh jalapenos in there.
You can, and I have.
Buddy. All right.
Yeah. No, I've mastered it. Took some time. I even take the meat, put on the cast iron. Get all that seasoning in there, buddy. I was so proud.
I really enjoy preparation of food.
I do.
Yeah.
I almost took a picture to send it to you just to show you I was going to be that guy. Be like, hey, check it out, Tom. Look at this. Look at your boy's preparation here. I had the music going, cold beer, sitting there just doing it out. Had baseball in the background. It was a good, that sound, right?
Oh, it's a very good sound.
It was good. It was good. I was very pleased. It's about the third time I've done it in the last 2 months, but I nailed this one. Kids loved it. So anytime that I make something and they're like, oh, I like that, Dad, you should do that again. Positive reinforcement. So then I just do it over and over again until I perfect it.
Well, the weather really invites for things like this to happen too. The deck weather, as we say, it's been a tad warm the last couple of days, just a little extra.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's funny. We're getting the extra hour this weekend, which I know you're a huge fan of.
Buddy,
I am as well.
Let's go. Let's spring forward. It's time.
But the combination this weekend and last of having baseball on one television and then the weekend of golf on the other television.
Buddy, wasn't that great this weekend?
We have arrived. We are out of winter. We are all the way out down here in Florida.
Shaved ribeye, Simpson.
Is that his new nickname?
I just went straight with Simpson like we worked at the Postal Service.
My name is Shaved Ribeye Simpson.
None of that chatter down there. Get this lady her box. Stamps. I did. It was fantastic. I was very pleased. Yeah, you just want to yell it out. Johnson. The original was Hammerhand, but anyhow, we're going to talk to Ira Schafel, Warchant.com here in just a second as we have an opportunity to kind of get his thoughts on a number of things. So here we go. He's there. Ira Schafel, Warchant.com. Hello, Ira.
I'm great, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. Hey, let's go through a couple of things and then get straight to football. I'm going to see you at practice here shortly, but let's start with this. Mercifully, the basketball season is going to come to an end tomorrow, probably at 2:00. Some dubious records, unfortunately, for this basketball team. I don't want to get into that again. I've already mentioned what those numbers are. What's your gut feeling as we wrap this pitiful season up as to what's going to happen in the offseason?
Look, I think Leonard Hamilton definitely wants to keep coaching.
Okay.
I think he believes he's got a plan to fix the situation, and then ultimately it'll be up to the powers that be whether or not they think that's a suitable plan. But as it stands right now, he wants to keep going. I think because of some of the things that we all know in the sport of college basketball, how quickly things can turn around. I think they'll give him that opportunity, but I can't say that for sure. I haven't gotten that confirmed by anybody.
Yeah, I was just curious. I know, obviously, you've done a great job of covering that program for years and years and years, and you usually have your handle, you have a handle on the personalities and who's what and what they're thinking. So I just think it's interesting that that it's your belief that Leonard wants to be back. Okay.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And I think he's already got a plan of what the roster is going to look like next year, assuming he does come back.
Okay. All right. So there's that. Moving from there, your thought that a month from now, we're saying what about this baseball team? Is it still that they don't pitch and are, suspect fielding, but can really hit? Or do things get better on that side of it?
I think it's probably going to be what we think it is. And it's not because of a lack of attention to detail.
Sure.
I think you can pin any of this on Link Jarrett. I mean, I think it's, it kind of goes back to, you were just talking about basketball, and we talked about how early, we've all talked about how early in Leonard Hamilton's tenure, they're not a good free throw shooting team. And it's like, well, when they got better shooters, they became a better free throw shooting team. I think when they get better defensive players, they're going to be a better fielding team. And so I think they've got some issues there. I think they've got obviously a lack of quality arms on the pitching staff. And I have confidence that Link Jarrett and the staff will remedy those situations. And I think they may get the most out of this team, but I don't know that you're just going to uncover some quality arms. I mean, we're 3 weeks in and we still haven't really seen Montgomery or Baumeister consistently put together strong outings. And if that's not going to happen, that's going to put a toll on a bullpen that's not very strong to start off with.
On to football, where I just made mention a moment ago that you and I will be there in attendance and probably do a stand-up afterwards, which would be nice. But what are you most excited to watch now that spring football officially begins?
I think especially until they put the pads on, I'm really excited about some of these new skill position guys. I just driving over to practice today, I was thinking about Jaheim Bell and, Kyle Morlock and, obviously Akeem Williams, but Ventrell Cypress at corner. I think these first couple of practices, we'll get a good feel for those guys, like how those guys run routes, how they contest passes. We'll see some one-on-ones. So I'm curious to see how, Cypress looks. And then also the freshman DBs, KJ Kirkland and Quindarius Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So those guys, I think the story of the probably season is going to be the lines of scrimmage, how much better they've gotten on the offensive line, the defensive line. But I just don't think we'll see much of that the first couple of days. So I'm really excited about the skill guys.
We're all on the same page. It's a brief appearance from Ira Schafel today because, listen, we got things to report on. We can do it tomorrow on Seminole Headlines. We've got a practice to watch. I'll see you over there shortly, buddy. Be well.
Go back to talking about food, Jeff.
There you go. I'm going to go back to talking about food. No, listen, what can we do? You want me to have him talk about the volleyball team? We're not doing all that. How'd they do this weekend?
Combined no-hitter for softball this weekend.
Yeah, they always are good. They're going to be good. They'll be good. But you know how it is with softball. We're just waiting for the postseason, Tom. We're just waiting for the postseason because they're always good enough to make a run to maybe win a national title. So you're just kind of like, eh. I do like that there was an energy again. And let me just say this. There's 2 games this weekend for baseball. Buddy, that atmosphere is that they're back. It's to have that energy in the crowd and anticipation. That's really what I would say. The anticipation of seeing this team and embracing, whatever it is they're going to be. But, the start of something new. And I think there's a real enthusiasm. There's a vibe. You can feel it. I thought attendance was really good. If you look at the 3 games, Saturday was really packed. I would say, Section B, love you guys, but can we arrive on time? Can we get the game on time? What are we doing out here? Game started. Come on, baby. Let's get in the stands here. Let's go. I love them, but
great. I'm not going to hear the end of that. Thanks.
Yeah, let's get to the game on time, guys.
I think I'll delay my first appearance at their tailgate a week now. Thank you.
No, their tailgate's great. I'm just teasing. I'm just saying. I just noticed Corey was really dogging him. Corey was all over him.
Oh, God.
He wouldn't stop. I was
great.
Like, come on, buddy. They're having some fun out there in the parking lot. It's going to be all right. It's like, well, it's big series. Big series. This team's good. We got to take them seriously. They're not going to show up on time. Okay. I did note that for the Saturday game, as I parked, walking up and watching all the folks at the softball game. I love when that bleeds over like that. When you get the folks, that is a great environment.
Especially when they get to supers for softball if they're hosting, and then you got a regional here for baseball.
It's cool.
Walk back and forth.
Yeah, it's really cool. Walking up, and that energy was good. I stood for a little while, watched a little bit of the softball, and then walked on over into Hauser. But as that was filling up, I thought this is the way it should be. Everybody feeling good. Bat to ball sports. Here we go. A little something to it. All right. And you felt it. Well, I think part of that really was Florida Gulf Coast being good and us recognizing, damn.
Yeah, by the second or third inning on Saturday, you're like, oh, this wasn't a one-day fluke thing. They're just going to mash. That's what they do.
Well, just seeing them, looking at them. I mean, you could tell right away. You're like, well, damn. I mean, we said it last hour, but for those that missed it, I mean, these are grown-ass men rolling out over there, 24 and 25-year-old kids or men.
Be a broken record about it, but this is the legacy of COVID eligibility is you have a lot of these teams around the country, not necessarily the top-tier programs because they tend to churn them out from high school, but some of these other schools. It's very much like watching a bracket and an upset at March Madness because there's a group that's been together for 4 years at a school or a program you don't typically know about or talk about. But there they are, all 22 years old, peaking at the same time. That's happening in every sport. It's bringing the parity to the forefront. The other thing I'd say, can we call that parking lot by Leach the bat to ball lot?
The bat to ball lot?
That's perfect.
That's good.
Or bat to ball alley.
I'll meet you over at bat to ball. Well, where were you? Right over there off of bat to ball. Oh, right in that area. Oh, yeah, the bat to ball right there. That's good.
They should erect a tower in the middle of it.
With bats and balls.
And that's right.
Yeah.
VIP seating for 10 to 15 people. You can watch both. Look at that.
Name it after me.
Bat to ball Cameron.
Yeah. I'm going to go over by the Cameron. The bat to ball? Yeah, same thing.
How did you get tickets?
Yeah. I know, Jeff.
Platinum Cheek. Or Chief.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A vehicle crashed into R. Frank Mims Middle School Friday night, causing structural damages. Superintendent of Leon County Schools, Rocky Hanna, posted on Facebook about the crash, saying up early this morning to assess the damage from a vehicle running into Mims Middle School last night at a high rate of speed. This is a developing story. Tallahassee police are investigating after an officer pulled over a car transporting a gunshot victim Friday morning. Officers stopped a vehicle that was driving erratically near Florida State University a little after 2 a.m. After being pulled over, the driver said the passenger had been shot in the 2600 block of West Tennessee Street near Tallahassee Community College. The victim was transported to a hospital with a non-deadly gunshot wound and later released. Officers responded to the area referenced by the driver, but were unable to locate the scene or any evidence indicating a shooting had occurred. TPD does not know the exact location or circumstances of the Friday shooting. No arrests have been made. The investigation is ongoing. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance for scattered showers this afternoon. Otherwise, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 85. Southwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 65. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 86. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 85.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, you know, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay.
You know?
Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Greg Tish here along with
Matty Rowe.
And you can listen to us Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3. Matt, we give away a couple things each week.
Just a few.
We've got the Florida Farm Bureau Insurance Wheel of Food. We have Give Me a Second, where we play a second of a song and you guess that song. And we also play FLA or Nay. We have a lot of fun Monday through Friday, 6 a.m., 9 a.m. on
The Greg Tish Show.
Think that's enough?
We could talk about our feelings.
There's a lot.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
You quite literally can't do it. You're not allowed. But I wish they could. At least I don't think you're allowed. So, I mean, there's a number of practices you have to have before you can.
No pad live? It's just
No.
helmets?
I want them to be in pads first day. Let's get it on. No.
It's no pad live Monday.
Listen, we've been running around for a month. No more pussyfooting. Put the pads on. Let's go. You want to talk about indoctrinating freshmen in a hurry? Ooh. That's a toughie. But yeah, obviously I'm being selfish just because I want to watch those tight ends and pads. I want to watch those guys play and line up and make football plays and see what they are, see what we can be. It's exciting, the idea of that. And unfortunately, we got to wait all week long. I'll be greatly anticipating that.
You can still learn some things about, say, the offensive linemen in terms of their ability to bend and stuff along those lines from, when they do the individual drills. Look at technique. I'm going to ask you about that tonight when we're live in the 7 p.m. hour here on Warchant TV for Monday Smash. But out of those guys, when you take a look at those drills, who looks the part and who looks like they can handle it? Now, when it comes to the moves and the over-the-shoulder stuff for the defensive ends, it's much more free-flowing. That's not fair.
Yeah.
But I want to know about Byers. Does he look like he profiles to you as a tackle, a guard first, interior player? Want to know about Casey Roddick? How does he look? Lucas
Huge.
Simmons.
I'll tell you what he looks like. Huge.
Yeah. Simmons, as a true freshman, did he look completely out of place and overwhelmed? And then both Early and Richardson put on a lot of weight, and Alex Atkins talked him up in the one-on-one interview that you did with him 2 weeks ago. Both of those guys. How did they look?
We do know that a lot of what we're going to watch throughout the entirety of spring is a lot less scrimmage-esque and a lot more teaching, a lot more fundamentals, a lot more repping what you have to get right to have success in a play. Like understanding, teaching these young guys, especially some of the transfers too, who aren't young. They've got to learn the playbook. They've got to learn the way Florida State's coaches want them to execute things and the way they want them to, what techniques they use in these things. So a lot of that, we won't get all that stuff that I've kind of in really antsy to see until we get into the fall. And I know that, but you'll see enough of it. You'll see enough of the matchups. But this is, Alex Atkins said it. He's right. This will be a lot about teaching. So there may be some guys who are really, really quick. Other guys who come in with great form. Remember, one of the things that Alex said, and that some of the coaches have alluded to before, when you get a transfer portal kid in, you remove your ego as well as a coach, because you could learn something from that player that they learned from another coach elsewhere that you then adopt, you take in and say, yeah, you know what? I like that. I like that. So we'll see if there's any of that, because you've got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football that are coming in.
Yeah, and I would think on the offensive side of the ball, just looking at the Scully count as it is, they probably want to add one or two more players between the spring and the fall window. You could see a departure from every position on offense not named quarterback at the end of spring. It wouldn't be a stretch to think that a receiver or two might call it quits after they see how things shake out.
Yeah,
up through the spring game. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be shocking to see an offensive lineman or
not
two.
Not at all.
Running back room is really crowded as well.
Yep.
There could be quite the purge here, and it's because we're sending quality players out onto the market. not just the guys who are already left. Malik McClain is a quality player that left Florida State and now is off to Penn State. I think we're going to flood the market with a handful of dudes. Receivers just so hard to sort. Mike Norvell talking about Darian Williamson.
A lot.
Ron Dugans was talking on Friday with me when I had the one-on-one about Deuce Spann.
Well, you know where I stand on Deuce Spann. I have really been excited since the day we got him to come here. Not just because he's a Lakewood kid, but that's a guy, when you look at that body type and you see that athleticism, if he can figure it out, catch the ball consistently, learn to run those routes, I mean, that athleticism, there may not be a better athlete on the team. Look at him. He's a freak.
You see the photo that Gene took?
Yeah, it's nuts.
That vertical against everybody else in line? Wow.
I'm telling you, I mean, we just got to see that kid figure it out. We need the light bulb to go off. He's got to be refined. I would assume he's worked really hard. And so I think we'll see real progress there. You're right, though. This is, as I dubbed it before, the camp of hurt feelings. And I think you're going to have probably somebody at almost every position. You're right, that you would say, he's a candidate to call it a day. Spring's going to reveal that he's not close, buried on the depth chart, and it's time to go. I hope not. I mean, I would love for guys. Yeah, look at that picture.
I mean, he's literally flying. That's crazy. And to hear that there's refinement in his game from his position coach and Ron Dugans, it's very telling that he's going to get a crack at it. The other thing is for the receivers this year, if you're good and you're borderline, you could be talked into staying because there's a lot of them leaving. Winston Wright's gone. I'm sure Pittman and Johnny Wilson are gone after this year as well. So if you're in the rotation this year, just wait a minute. It's going to be okay because in next year's offense, you're going to be targeted an awful lot.
Remember that is something Mike Norvell has talked about, that if you're going to rely on the transfer portal, the balance, the ability to sit and talk to the young men and get them to hear you about, where they're at, these honest conversations. I brought it up this past year where I talked about part of your job as a coach, if a player's not where he wants to be, is to lay out the path of how does he get there. Your job as a coach isn't just to, sit across from a player and say, do this, do that. This player has real goals. This player really wants to succeed. You recruited this player. They're now third or fourth on the depth chart. They're frustrated, but you think they have real ability. They're just not there yet. It's going to take a year. It's going to take 2 years. You have to lay it out for them. This is what you'll have to do. I see real promise in you, or you don't. Maybe the kid's a bust. And you got to be real honest with him about that too, without saying that, maybe there are other opportunities for you. I understand your frustration, and maybe Marshall is the right spot for you. But
the purpose of this meeting today is alternative opportunities.
Yeah. There's a great opportunity at Utah State. I was just on the phone. No, but that's, if you've got a guy that you really want to hold on to and you think can really be of value to you as an asset to that segment group, he's just not ready. And he's frustrated because he thought he was, he's a 4-star kid. He thought he was going to come in and play right away. He's buried behind a couple of upperclassmen that are really good. And, you got to put your best players on the field. You have to make sure that you sit across from him. And I think Mike is really good at this, clearly. Is that, he can say to that kid, look, we love you. You've done everything right. Keep working hard, man. I'm telling you, I see this for you. I know you're frustrated. I know you're anxious. You want to get on the field. You only have so much time left. But let's really look at this roster right now. The two guys ahead of you, one's a senior, one's a junior. I'm pretty sure he's going to leave after this year. I don't see why it can't be you next year, and here's what I need you to do. This is why you're not on the field. You're not on the field because boom, boom, boom. I think this staff has done, one of their strengths is communication, is laying it bare for all these guys. And the fact that Mike talked about it publicly to the press at the luncheon,
Well, that speaks to one specific development for the program, which is there's a hell of a lot more talent here, so I don't have to sugarcoat anything anymore, or I don't have to deflect. I can just be direct everywhere at all times.
I love it. When he said it, I was trying not to laugh because he was basically telling some of those guys, like, look, man, take it on down the road. Take it on down the road, Chief.
Maybe
I'm not going to
instead-
bargain with you. We
Yeah.
sucked 2 years ago. I might have had to sit here and listen to this nonsense 2 years ago. I don't have to listen to this now. Be like, have a good one, Slappy.
Maybe you post the two deep in the locker room, and you got that. So there's the columns for each position in the two deep. Then there's this separate list, and it's not a cut list. It's just a look, comma, man list. Look, man.
Look, man.
And if you're on the look, man list,
come see me.
Come see me.
Come see me. I'll talk to you.
We could get you off the look, man list, but right now
we can get you on somebody else's roster.
Look, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, also, you're dealing with different levels of maturity with these kids, and that's anywhere. That's at the job. That's anywhere. And so you don't know, like, if a kid was, let's say he's from a small town and he was all everything, and he started both ways, and he was dominant. He ran track, played baseball, basketball, football, you name it, and he was always good. He was always lauded for being good. Now he comes here, he's against like athletes or even better athletes who obviously at this point have passed him by, and he's buried and he's frustrated. You know, he may not have the maturity to deal with that kind of setback of not being the guy, of not being ready to play right here, right now, because he was always first man up. He was always the guy. And you have to have those conversations. You have to, look, we recruited you for the very reason that you have an ego. Like, you are sitting across from me right now because you think you should be out there. Well, I knew you were good. You knew you were good. You displayed that in high school, but now you're amongst kids that are like you. They're also really good. And I'm not going to gift it to you. You're going to have to earn it. You're undersized, or you don't know the playbook, or these are the reasons I can't put you on the field, at least not yet. And some kids can handle that. Some can't. Some are going to leave.
Just talking to, again, who were you had tow cars, and then you spoke with Adam Fuller at length as well, too, during the luncheon portion of Friday. But I think I got Ron Dugans for 10 minutes, and he was talking about the number one thing that he's going to work on with Hakeem Williams and Vidravius Jacobs is taking the stars off.
Yeah.
It's, if you slacked off in a drill in high school, no big deal. You're the man.
Nobody's going to say
But
anything.
here it's get on the line, get your feet on the line. So that's something that I fully expect to see this week and throughout the whole of their first spring camp, is that those two particular stars, who I'm sure feel for the right reasons about themselves very confidently.
Yeah.
They're going to get checked. This is what Dugan said from the word. They're going to get checked, and they're going to get taught how it is here. The good thing is that our receiver room, could you imagine if you had freshmen that maybe had a little bit extra something to them, walked into the situation last year? They would expect to play, and they'd be right.
Probably be right.
And it could foster a problem. But not this wide receiver room. They're walking into a much more healthy and talented and diverse group of players that are older than them. So their growth curve, I'm sure, will be a lot more healthy than it would have been if they were here just one season ago.
It's a hard transition playing big-time college football, I think, for receivers. It's a little bit like, I guess stay with me here on this. You guys will understand what I'm saying. It's a little bit like offensive line. If you're an upper crust offensive lineman in high school, 99% of the time you went against a guy you could manhandle. Technique didn't really matter. You were bigger than them. You were stronger than them. You were going to be able to do it, whatever you ragdoll people in 8 of the 10 games you played. You might come across another Division I guy who's going somewhere where technique was going to matter and you'd better execute, or else he was going to take advantage of you. But a lot of times you might go through an entire campaign where you really didn't see anybody who could match up with you when you got your hands on them. Well, it's true of receivers, too. A lot of these elite receivers, if you're a guy who looks like Hakeem Williams, who the hell's checking you in high school? Who's running with you and high pointing the football against you?
Well, and you look at, for example, the workouts last Thursday, and yeah, it's a giant hula hoop on the ground and some cones and some whatever, but you look at the way Winston Wright navigates that, or Pittman, or Kyle Morlock, who's a 6th-year player. They navigate these things with such fluidity and polish. And then Hakeem runs it, and it's kind of a disaster. Like, oh, God. But he never needed to.
Yeah.
He never needed to worry about those little details. But it's kind of neat to be able to go there and cover a drill and see this is where he needs to get better. It's like watching last year with Daniel Lyons and Bishop Thomas and Odell Higgins with the sled, talking about their form, and it was just trash for what it needs to be against 22-year-olds.
Yeah, against real players who have been in a system, who have technique, who are disciplined, who have seen a lot of different things, gone up against a lot of different things in terms of experience and moves and form.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not me opining. That's Odell yelling at them saying, this is not going to cut it.
Right,
And the great thing about, guys like Tafasi and Daniel Lyons is they could still win reps and not have that refinement. And that's what Hakeem Williams is still going to win some one-on-ones without being a refined wide receiver.
Well, that's why I think he'll see the field this year. I mean, he's going to play.
Yeah,
he's going to play. I mean, that's a big, strong kid. He looks the part. They may simplify it. I don't know, I don't know how far along he is in terms of offensive concepts, but he's going to get on the field. If you can create one-on-ones with him, he's going to win. They've done a really good job of creating one-on-ones for most of their guys. I mean, again, this offense, they create one-on-one mismatches.
Well, and by default, there should be. If you're deciding to guard Hakeem Williams first, then somebody else who's far more accomplished and mature as a body type is going to be wide open instead. That's the benefit of this offense.
Oh, circle back to the start of the show when I was talking about, maybe halfway through the first hour, where I was just talking about, I have every belief that this offense is going to be a nightmare for teams. That it feels like the certainty that I would hang my hat on. How many games we win? Are we a national championship contender, playoff contender? Will we win the conference? These are questions, these big picture questions that we ask each other as fans. But the one thing that I would say was, I know they're going to be good on offense. I can say that with certainty. Offensive line, a depth of weapon at running back, wide receiver, a quarterback with all that experience. Yeah, they're good. They're good to go. We're done. I can't hear anything.
Oh, there's no music yet.
All right.
I mean, we are, though. You're correct.
I just
We're
saw
in the
that
final minute of the show.
No, I thought I was going to throw it and say goodbye, but I didn't hear any music, so I thought, man, maybe I'm early. Maybe I screwed up and didn't. I certainly didn't mention the hot tubs, but we should have. Pinch a Penny. Go see them. Greer Street. Tons of them. I'll do you right tomorrow, Pinch a Penny.
Listen to us at 7 o'clock tonight on Warchant TV from
That's
the tub.
Correct. Yeah, from the tub, and I'll be from the practice fields. Be good, everybody. This was fun. I'll talk to you again tomorrow, or actually tonight, in the 7 o'clock hour, as Tom just alluded to. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Peace.